Hello and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. David Cameron's same-sex marriage bill has become law this week, but opponents say the new law will come back to bite him. Many believe the government's failure to properly protect the civil liberty of people who believe in traditional marriage will lead to cases of injustice. The Coalition for Marriage, which opposed the redefinition of marriage, said these cases will come back to bite the Prime Minister. Campaign Director Colin Hart added, "The Coalition for Marriage will make sure everyone knows that he has brought it on himself." Former Government Minister Sir Gerald Howarth also hit out at the way the bill has been handled, describing this week's lack of debate a parliamentary disgrace. And David Landrum of the Evangelical Alliance said, "Real marriage is and will always be exclusively a lifelong union between a man and woman. We also know that God is not fazed by this, and as Christians we should have confidence to speak and teach the truth with grace and love. We should help each other sustain marriage as a covenant before God." Staying with marriage, and former England cricket star Sir Ian Botham has criticised the ease of getting a divorce, saying sometimes you have to eat humble pie and work on your marriage. The former England captain has admitted having a past affair, but is still with his wife Kath after 37 years. He said the problem with the society we've created is that it's so easy to walk away from marriage. It's so simple that it's pathetic. Marriages don't just happen. I think you've got to be prepared to put your hand up and say, "Yes, I got that wrong." And you've got to eat humble pie and work on your marriage. The law on abortion for disabled babies is outdated and could be discriminatory, according to a group of MPs and peers. A parliamentary commission chaired by Fiona Bruce MP has published a report which outlines views that the law is essentially acting as a form of eugenics. Currently, doctors can approve abortions up to full term if they think there is a substantial risk that the child will be seriously handicapped. This includes conditions which could be dealt with after birth, such as clubfoot and cleft lip. The report also acknowledges a shift in social attitudes towards disability, concluding, "It is time to review the moral, ethical, legal and practical framework within which this provision of the Abortion Act operates and how the law applies to a fetus beyond the age of viability." Last year, 2,700 babies were aborted for reasons of disability. The Prime Minister wants internet providers to make it look like they are doing more to crack down on harmful online content without actually changing anything, according to a leaked letter. The letter from the Department for Education laid out a number of specific requests from the Prime Minister of the internet industry. The letter says, without changing what you will be offering, i.e. Active Choice Plus, the Prime Minister would like to be able to refer to your solutions as default on. The Active Choice Plus system is less stringent than default filtering, which would automatically bar content such as pornography. Shadow Culture Minister Helen Goodman has described the revelation as disgraceful and a deliberate attempt to mislead parents. Some other news in brief now, and the primary school in London has postponed showing a sex education DVD following concerns from parents about the explicit nature of some of the content. The Channel 4 produced Living and Growing DVD came in for criticism after parents were invited to an advanced showing of the material. One parent said the sex scene could actually be classed as pornography. Many parents are concerned, and I know the teachers are uncomfortable teaching this subject so graphically. A Christian baker in the US, Jack Phillips, is facing a possible jail sentence of up to 12 months after he declined to make a cake for a gay wedding. Mr. Phillips said that providing a cake for the wedding went against his Christian beliefs, but the Colorado Civil Rights Division ruled that Mr. Phillips had broken the law, prompting the Attorney General to file a complaint. The case is due to be heard in September. Scottish ministers have decided to wait and see before moving on presumed consent for organ donation. It follows a report advising ministers to wait for evaluation of the move passed by the Welsh Parliament before deciding whether or not to proceed with a similar system in Scotland. And Lord Faulkner's latest attempt to legalise assisted suicide has been described as wholly inadequate and not fit for purpose in a report by medical and legal experts. The Peers Assisted Dying Bill would allow doctors to give lethal drugs to patients believed to have less than 6 months to live. But a report published by Living and Dying Well says the proposals fail the public safety test by a considerable margin, commenting, "Parliament cannot responsibly be asked to approve such a radical piece of legislation without seeing the nature of the safeguards that would accompany it." And finally, an elderly couple who first met nearly 80 years ago are set to get married. Bob Humphreys, 89, and Bernie Blewett, 87, fell in love as teenagers but lost touch during the Second World War after Bob joined the army and Bernie listed in the RAF. Bernie went on to marry an RAF pilot and moved to New Zealand. Bob also married, but both spouses have since died. Bernie returned to the UK after being away for 64 years, and the pair met up again 4 years ago at a party.
I thought, who's that old bird coming in there?
He didn't really. What did you think of him?
I didn't
Don't tell him.
I didn't see an old man. I saw that young soldier.
Bob's smooth chat-up line obviously worked, and the couple are due to exchange wedding vows this weekend at St John the Baptist Church in Paulet, Somerset. Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.